everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jimmy, and in today's video, we will be taking a look at the FlexiSpot E6. Now, this is the second standing sitting table that I have in the home. The other one I have is another FlexiSpot table that I got back in 2019 for the YouTube studio because it was able to hold a bunch of weight, and there is motors inside of this table that I am allowed to either raise or I'd also be able to lower. And there is memory buttons for height, so I can change it for if I wanted to go to standing, I just tap it once and it goes directly to my standing height, or the other button, which is for sitting. Now this one has the up arrow, the down arrow, it has a standing position, a sitting position, and then you also have position 3 and 4. Over here, there is a button, it's just M. That is how you're able to save a height for a spot. So let's say that this is the height that I want for standing. Maybe we'll put it a little bit higher. I tap on M, and now I'm able to save it right there, and it's already saved for this height. Now, the reason why I said yes to this second table here is because I am expanding my business with 3D printing, and then now with the Carvera Air. Now, this machine is super heavy. This thing weighs 77 pounds. And that is why I wanted to show off with this video a big heavy box that weighs 77 pounds, because the max capacity load that you can put on this table with it still moving up and down is 352 pounds. So I can actually put two of these machines on the same table and have no issues with it hurting the motor, and it's still able to move at a good rate. So when it comes down to the minimum and maximum height that you can put this as, so I can put it all the way down to 24.4 inches, and I can put it all the way up to 50 inches, which we will do that right now just to see how tall this thing gets with me. And then what I'll do is I'll probably just move this box out of the way so that we can move it without any weight on it. So on the screen, there is a display letting me know it's at 48 point whatever, 49 point whatever, and now we are at 50. So if there's any purpose or reason to have it this high, you can. And again, this might actually work for my 3D printers, putting it up here, and then maybe I could put something underneath as well. This right here is just an old gaming table. I had to leave it, didn't really know where to put it, but at least it is perfect for when I put it into the sitting position, it's not going to touch it. Now, one really nice feature about this table is that there is an anti-collision sensor. So back when I set this up for the standing and the sitting, if I was to hit on this sit, and if that rack was to have moved, because this rack over here holds my filaments and a few 3D prints, if it was going to hit that object, it would actually stop and then bump up and move up just a little bit to avoid further collision. Now, how you set this anti-collision is by pressing and holding the up and down arrow for 5 seconds. And it'll show you either a 0, which means that it's off, a 1, which is low, or a 2, a 3, a 4. It just depends on the sensitivity that you would like to set. Now for this second FlexiSpot table that I have, I went with the bamboo top. Now in my YouTube room, I have a black frame with a black tabletop, but then I put a little sticky wallpaper covering on top of it, so it has a whole layer that looks just like this. And that is why for this one, I went with bamboo, because in the YouTube room, I made it look like it's a bamboo table when really it has a black top. The size of table that I went with was 55 inch by 28 inch. And what I like about this frame is that if you get a different size tabletop, you're able to expand the frame underneath it or keep it shorter. So when I first assembled this table, the frame underneath was short, and then I just kind of extended it out, relocked in the screws, and then now it's at the length for this table. And now for the unboxing. So I received the desk frame first. I was able to fully set it up, and then the next day the tabletop came. Now inside the box, everything's all separated out, plastic and cardboard and foam. Inside the box, you will receive 2 feet, 2 lifting columns, 2 connection rods, 2 support beams for the left and the right, 2 side brackets, 1 adapter arm, the adapter itself. You have the control box, the keypad, the adapter cables, the power plug, you have 4 wheels, the cable management tape, and the cable manager. Step 1 is putting together the support beam and brackets, along with installing those 2 columns, one on the left and one on the right. Now once you screw in those 2 lifting columns, then you move on to your feet. Now I went with this one with the screws in the X formation, so you can see that I'm going opposite of each other, just so it's a little bit easier. And then this is where you can start to decide if you want to use those lifting feet right there. So those 4 circular discs, you can rotate them to make them taller or shorter. And this is where you first start to think, will they be like this or with those rolling wheels? And then the next day my tabletop arrived, and then this is where you just unbox it and lay it on the ground. Now once you put your tabletop on the ground, again you want the upper portion to be on the carpet, so this way it'll show those pre-drilled holes. This is where you're able to align one of the sides. Now once you put in those screws on the left hand side, at least what I did, then I unscrewed the frame in the middle so it was able to be pulled out. And then once you screw in those screws there, don't forget to tighten those little bolts or screws in the middle of that frame so everything is all stuck in. Next up, I screwed in the keypad in those pre-drilled holes. I forgot to tighten those screws there in the frame in the middle, but I'll actually do that here in just a second. But this is where you put in your keypad, then you put in your bracket and the bracket arm, and everything is very easy to follow along with the instructions to plug everything in. And one tip that I would mention, just because I did this with my other FlexiSpot table, is keep those little ties, those black ties that comes with these cables, because then you can do your cable management right then and there. Once you plug everything in where they're supposed to be plugged in, use those ties to just bundle everything up all together. So this way they all just sit underneath the table. And then what I do is I tuck those little cables into the frame when it is sitting upright. And so this is what my cable management looks like underneath. I know when it is standing up upright, it looks normal and none of these are dangling low. I assembled this table all by myself, and I also positioned it in the location all by myself. So this one doesn't have to be a two-man job, but it could be a little bit easier with another pair of hands. And as I stated from before, I will keep my level feet on just because there's a lot of heavy moving equipment on this, so I won't be using the wheels. Now I do want to give a big thank you to FlexiSpot for sending out this table. This table was sent out in exchange for this video, so there was no payment, there was no script to go off of, just me sharing my experience and usage with this table and the specifications with you guys. Now in the YouTube room, I've had my other FlexiSpot table in there since 2019, and I am a huge fan of it. So if you guys are in the market for looking for a durable, heavy-duty table with motors that you're able to either bring it up or bring it down with the arrows, or if you want to assign specific heights from 1 through 4, and you also want to have a obstacle avoidance system, then this is the one for you. So for my personal use, this table will be used in the workshop, basically a CNC machine and also a 3D printer, allowable for me to move this thing up and down with all that weight. This CNC machine right here, it weighs 77 pounds. A 3D printer, I believe, is probably around like 25, 30 pounds, so it's going to work perfectly. So this could be in your workshop, or it could just be as your office table, just like mine is in the YouTube studio since 2019. So hopefully you guys have appreciated this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit on subscribe on the very bottom left hand side. And if you like this video, then more than likely you'll also like this video. And I'll see you guys later.